Hello, this is Joe83. This is round 4 of LCR2 this season, and we are here in the Zandvoort circuit in the Netherlands, which is a really good circuit to drive, although worryingly it's going to be wet at the start of the feature race. You can see there on the graphic. I missed the previous round in Canada and because I was away, but yeah, running the increased top speed on the preset setups there. Soft tyres, obviously, for the one-shot quali, and we get straight into the lap, the only lap that you do in qualifying, as it is one shot. And here we are, 5 red lights going off now, and we start the lap and try to brake nice and cleanly just after 100 meter board. I was fairly confident of my pace in the dry. We saw I won the last feature race I was in Brazil. That was pretty lucky, but even without the luck, my pace was definitely there for top 3, top 4 quite comfortably. So hopefully we can continue that in the Netherlands here through turn 4. Very difficult corner on the wheel. You lose about 4 tenths just on traction there compared to the pad. So yeah, going to be losing out to the championship leader, who is Amazed OT, who's on the pad, and a few of my rivals are on controller as well. But through this blind corner, this is so hard. Try and get as close to that inside curve as possible without hitting him. I did it pretty well there though, in 4th gear, and then through the next corner, 4th gear once again. And this corner was incredibly difficult to try and get right without the racing line on, and just the braking was so difficult. I could never really find my right line through there, but we've done it pretty well on that occasion. And then through the onto the second DRS straight and 2nd gear for the better turn in, but we short shift on the exit, try and not lose traction. And DRS wide open now down towards the P section of the track, where there was tapping grandstands on the right hand side there, braking just at the curb starts and taking a lot of inside curb there in 2nd gear, trying to throw the car in, hope it sticks, which it does, and getting decent traction on the exit here. And now down towards the banked section of the track, braking at 50 meters, 3rd gear, trying to avoid that outside curb, but we've gone over it quite a lot there. That would cost us about a tenth or two on the run to the line. But opening DRS now for the end of the lap, it's been fairly clean. My best was a 19.8, I think, and we're going to come across the line for a 20.2, which, given it's one shot, I'll definitely take that, because usually I'm way more than 4 tenths off. It says it's 5th, but it's situated into 3rd because this game's really good, and it's actually, yeah, going to be 3rd on the grid, but pretty decent lap there, and I'm happy to be ahead of Mulder and Kez and the Humperdinck. I usually wouldn't expect to be ahead of them, but only like a tenth, just over 100th behind Matt. So it's a little bit disappointing not to be 2nd, but if you offer me 3rd at the start of the session, I'd happily take that. Obviously, Amaze is well clear at the front, 7 tenths or something. As we said, it's wet, which I am dreading because I'm horrific in the wet conditions, and obviously I used the preset 4, so the increased top speed, which isn't going to help either. And yeah, the wet tyres, the wet weather in F2 is just so hard to get right. But let's see how we do. 5 red lights for the Zandvoort Netherlands Grand Prix, and it's lights down, away we go. Try and get a good start, but the revs were so low for some reason. I had a lot of throttle on, but yeah, the car just didn't want to start. It's been pretty tentative to say the least, and Kez from 5th has got a really good start in his MP Motorsport car up the inside of me, myself and Mulder into turn 1. He takes that position pretty easily, nothing much I can do about that. And so we're down to 4th straight away, and out into the next section, 3rd gear for the first part, and then going down to 2nd for the second part. Kez taking a very unorthodox line, trying to get a good exit here, which he will do on that controller on Matt, who's on the wheel. And yeah, he does. You can see there, they're going to be running side by side up the hill. And I'm going to try and take advantage here of anything that might happen. But Connor's already absolutely gone in the lead, you can see, in the other MP. But up here, we're going to have a little bit of oversteer. I'm trying to correct it, but downshifting way too quickly. And I've caused myself a massive spin that's absolutely wiped out about 3 cars. So that's gone fantastically, and what looked like a pretty promising start has already fallen apart, and I've taken out my teammate Luke and Mulder, I think, and Joe was caught up in that as well. So, and also my wheel decided to like lose calibration, as it often does in massive crashes. I know how to fix it. You just have to unplug it and replug it back in, but that's a bit more time it's going to cost me. But not as much time as the red front wing will cost me, which I'm going to stay out until it gets dry, because you saw it was only wet for half the race. I don't think it's worth making a pit stop for a front wing change just for more wets. Obviously there's no inters in the F2 cars, sorry. So yeah, I'm just going to wait it out, and hopefully you can see how much we're struggling. Can't even take this section flat at all, running on the grass on both sides of the track there. But there's Callum G, who was disconnected from the very start, but his disconnected car managed to spin out, even though it was AI, so that's interesting. But either way, we're coming to 10th now, and you can see my teammate Luke is just ahead in the other Carlin, and he also had mad front wing damage because of me, and yeah, it's getting dry now as well, so you can see the next tyres are set to mediums. DRS is about to be enabled, but unfortunately Luke's my teammate, so I'm like, I couldn't pit on the same lap as him because I was so close. It's just going to cost me loads of time, but DRS has been enabled now, and you can see even as the top guys have pit already, I'm still going to be level with Matt, who I was alongside on the grid, and he's already got a pit stop over me and is now on the right tyres, but through this corner he's going to easily take that. I can't do anything really to change that. But Apex, meanwhile, is absolutely drifting around turn 4. Matt's going to hit his inside tyre. I'm going to go running outside of the pair of them, even with the everything against me at the minute. No front wing, or barely a front wing, on the wrong tyres on a dry track, and we've absolutely minced both of them, just showing how much of a better driver I am, really. And now through this corner where I made a mistake earlier, Matt's going to go sending up the inside. Pretty fair enough there, to be fair. I have absolutely no grip, and his tyres are working a lot better in this condition. And Apex also try and take advantage straight away, but through the section, nothing you can do there. But I'm going to run wide all over those curbs there, and Apex is going to take advantage, send one up the inside, and absolutely drift his way past me, power sliding through the next corner. But he's made it work. Fair play to him. And yeah, I'm back down into 9th, and you see 28 seconds now to my teammate, the Humperdinck, which a pit stop with the front wing change is stupidly long in F2. So I was going to easily be that. You see by the end of the lap, we lost about 4 seconds to him anyway, just because of the dry tyres. And yeah, going into the pits, braking stupidly early because I forgot where the line was. So yeah, this race has been an absolute disaster, really, from lap 1 onwards. Well, from halfway through lap 1 onwards, and yeah, into the pits now. Only, I think you're allowed 6 mechanics or something to work on the car, so your tyres can't get changed at the same time. So even after the, what would be 8 seconds on the front wing, the tyres then have to be changed as well. So it's going to be even longer onto the mediums. My teammate Luke flying past the pit exit there, and it's a 15.5, which is just what you love to see. And coming out of the pits, I'm behind Callum G again. His disconnected car has been AI since lap 1 and is back ahead of me, so that's the closest thing to a battle I'm going to get this race, I think. And coming on the pit exit, just taking it so cautiously not to get a penalty or any damage or anything. As this is one of the first times I've driven with a full front wing this race, so very nice. Very unexpected grip at this point. But yeah, down in 11th, we overtook Callum's AI car pretty easily. And yeah, that was pretty much it until lap 16. You can see my teammate Luke is 19 seconds up the road in 8th. So not a chance am I going to get reverse grid pole, but I could get a chance of an extra point because Joe is back in the pits in the yard and he's going to go fastest lap on a set of softs. But I didn't think of that because I was yeah, just not as creative as him. And but it has raised me up into 9th, so we're getting 2 points, which, to be fair, after how much of a mistake I made in lap 1, I'll take, despite there only being, I think, 10 drivers left. But either way, it's 9th place, and yeah, pretty happy with that. It says that I finished 8th, but I didn't. It's just Matt glitched on the timings, so I'm actually 9th, and Matt finished 3rd in the end, so well done to him. I feel like, obviously it's very hypothetical, but in the dry I reckon pace the challenge for 2nd, maybe 3rd was probably where I would have been, but unfortunately it rains sometimes in F1, so yeah, got to get better at that, hopefully. But luckily for me, the sprint race is going to be dry, but I am starting 9th. Yeah, so going to have all the fast drivers around me, and all the drivers who I usually battle are going to be further up the grid. So once again, choosing the increased top speed setup and readying up for the start of the sprint race. It's going to be 9 laps long, so got to get on with it, really, if you want to make any sort of progress. Only in top 8 get points, so we've got to make some progress at least if we want points. But here we go, 5 red lights, 4 round race 2 of this round, and we are away, and it's a pretty average start. Yeah, I just bogged down once again. I couldn't really get the revs right, it felt, this weekend for some reason, which is a bit strange. But Mulder's going to go flying up the outside around turn 1, and that's pretty handy move from him. Kez getting barshed out of the way by Matt there, pretty aggressive from my teammate in co-op, and you might know. And yeah, into the next section of the track, Joe has already spun out from behind me, so I'm now pretty much last of all the drivers have a chance, and up the hill, losing a bit of time. Connor's all over the grass there, you can see up ahead, just trying to keep my nose clean really is the only aim of this lap, and if there's any carnage, just avoid it all and yeah, pick up the pieces really, and yeah, going through the blind section, try and keep it nice and clean. There's so much battling going up ahead. There's that 3 sets of people going side by side, so I was kind of expecting a crash. Mulder going extremely wide there. Can we go up the inside here? No, he's going extremely late and pretty getting his car slowed down well there, so a lot later than I could have broken there. But into the next corner, Mulder's going to try and take the initiative on Kez and goes sending one up the inside and just about got it done. A bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there, but he's got to move into 8th place. I'm still in 10th on the mediums. You can't choose the tyres, but the game decided to split randomly pretty much who was starting mediums, who was starting softs. Meanwhile, Mulder and Kez still going at it. Mulder's spun there in my way, so I've got to get out of his way and take that place up into 9th, but I've lost a bit of time to Kez. You can see the gap's 1.2 seconds now, which is a bit unfortunate, but more unfortunate for Mulder because he's now out of the running completely. So yeah, at the end of the next lap, actually, I've got the gap back down to 4/10, and the gap is going down to the guys ahead as well. So into turn 1, try keep it nice and clean. Apex hasn't done that. He's sliding once again. Kez is going to hit Apex. I've got to try and avoid it, and I'm in the gravel. And yeah, that was so unfortunate. I think Apex made a mistake. Like, it's fair enough, everyone makes mistakes, but yeah, Kez was doing his best to avoid it. Apex then hit the pit wall, which spun himself back into Kez's path. I had to then like second guess myself about 4 times throughout the corner, trying to avoid it. Luckily, I didn't get any damage, but yeah, we lost so much time, and I'm 4.5 seconds behind Ben, and I've got to overtake Kez, who's got half a wing left, which is going to slow me down as well. So through this section, obviously I'm going to have much more downforce with the full front wing. I know the perils of driving without one, as we found out in the feature race, but into this next section, Kez going extremely slowly. And I'm going to try and make something happen down the second DRS straight. It's braking so early there. I'm not quite sure what that's about, but going to try and get a nice exit onto this straight. Swing to the inside. Kez going to cover that off, so I'm going to swing to the outside. I think I can make the move either way, really. And then into the next section, braking 100 meter board and second gear, leaving him plenty of space. I did not want to crash into him because he doesn't like me anyway, and didn't want to make that any worse. And coming into the next section, up to the banking, he was still side by side. Got Lehman's pace up the inside. And third gear, trying to get it nicely turned in and over that curve on the exit. Just about done it with the superior downforce, giving me a bit of an edge. Kez was trying at DRS, but the downforce that I got through the final corner and the dirty air that he would have got has not helped him out. His straight's a little bit too short for anything to happen here. But you can see the gap. I'm 6 seconds behind Ben now, with only 5 laps to go. Start lap 5 now of lap 9. And yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be a very tall order. But actually, by the end of the race, we had very good pace, I think. We've closed it down to just over a second on Ben, and it was I think it was 7 seconds to Callum, and it's now 4.5. So my pace was there, which is a bit unfortunate. Without that that trip into the gravel, maybe I could have got a few places higher. But either way, 7th I'll pretty much take after how much of a mistake I made at the start of the feature. But yeah, not close enough for anything to happen. It's the final lap of the race, and my teammate, the Humperdinck, actually, with that reverse grid pole, managed to convert it into a victory. So Carlin have won it at 3 of the 4 weekends so far, which I'm pretty sure we would have taken at the start of the season, and coming across the line for 2 more points. So it's been 4 points over the whole weekend, which is very average, but yeah, these things happen. I made a mistake, obviously, can't blame anyone for that at the start of the feature, and yeah, that pretty much compromised me from there on. So yeah, just the 2 points from the sprint, 2 points from the feature as well. My pace was pretty good though, low 20s, low 22s, all race long really, from lap 5 onwards once we were out of the traffic. And yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it goes sometimes. I was closing up on the top pack definitely, but obviously the incident didn't help at all. But that's going to end this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been J83, and I'll see you next time.